it's Barbara. It's Tuesday, August 10th. It's Dennis's birthday. I don't think it's going to feel the same when I walk out as it is in here, though, even though it looks like it might. The humidities are very different. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. I was right, it feels very different. The cicadas are with me, and Pearl is with me. I think Maisie went back to bed. I took Dennis up his tea, but he didn't seem inclined to open his eyes, so I was very quiet and just left it for him. And I was able to give the girls their treats. We go through a routine every morning when I bring Dennis his tea. Or when he brings his own tea and me coffee. The girls get a treat, so they have to sit, they have to stay. We walk away with the treat. We tell them to come or give them the come signal. So we have this whole routine. And I did the whole routine with and Maisie's always, you got to persuade her to get up because she's a lazy slug. And then she has to stretch her leg because she has a bad knee. So she has to stretch her leg before she'll roll over and bump you and then sit. So she has her own little routine before our routine starts. But today I was able to get them to do everything with just hand signals, so I didn't have to say anything. Of course, it is a routine. I could probably just stand there and hold the treat and they would do everything. But I gave them the hand signals. And we did everything with hand signals and we were quiet. So Dennis is still sleeping, but he has a tea next to him if he wants it. And he gets to start his day however he wants. It's his birthday. Of course, he's retired. He gets to start his day however he wants anyway, no matter what. Anyway, happy birthday, sweetie. We are having company for dinner tonight. Dennis's cousin Bonnie and his mother are coming over. Got the house more than halfway there yesterday. Yesterday was a funny day because I streamed and I didn't leave the deck. So normally I do my video, I go in the house, I transfer it, I edit it. Not that I do much, I don't. And then, you know. So I go in the house and I finish up the video. But yesterday I had a book, which was on my phone. And so while it was uploading or finishing or processing or whatever it does after I do a live stream, I just sat out here and read my book. And then Dennis came out and we sat out for a while. And then I finished my book. And I started reading Twitter. And Twitter, I don't know. I was not in a good mood after Twitter. Anyway. And then my knee started clicking on the walk, so my knee was hurting and it's swollen again. So I started cooking my mutton paneer. Dennis could tell I was, in a bad mood. So he's doing what he can to help my mood and my cooking. So I'm sorry, sweetie, I'm just really grumpy. I don't know why. He said, I know. He said, I'm not very good at taking advice when I'm in a bad mood, in case you were wondering. I mean, like advice for the moment. He said, well, one thing I've noticed, I hope you don't mind me telling you, is that when I'm in a really bad mood and I'm doing something, it really helps to kind of just slow down and be in the moment and just take, little bits by little bits rather than, it seems to help me. I said, well, that's good advice. And I was doing that. I was working on that, So that was helpful. And I was doing that. So by the time I finished making the mutton paneer, I was feeling better. We fed the dogs in between steps, so we fed the dogs. But the mutton paneer wasn't tasting just right. I don't know. It felt like maybe the tomatoes weren't cooked enough. I don't know. It was good, but it wasn't right. And I made this huge pot of it because I'm taking it down the shore tomorrow. But Dennis is like, oh no, it's good, needs a little more salt, and you know, he ate his, and I had one bowl, but I was gonna have seconds, and when I went over to get seconds, I found I had done a Maison Plus, which is where you get all your ingredients out into little bowls, like they do on the TV shows, the cooking shows. That's Maison Plus. You get all your ingredients out, so they're right there, they're ready when you need them and whatever. And I noticed I had one of my Maison Pluses of spices, a big chunk of spices was sitting next to the stove. I'm like, oh, that explains it. I didn't put all the spices in. I dumped them in. I said, oh, sweetie, there's more spices. He says, yeah, but I'm done. I finished mine, but it was okay. It was fine. So anyway, the second bowl was way better. And I was feeling better. So I was feeling better, and I did say, you know, when we vacuum, I'll feel better too, because the house has been getting on my nerves because it's been pretty messy since everybody left. So, so I cleaned some, and Dennis vacuumed the rug, and it makes me feel better. So I feel better, and the house is pretty ready. I've cleared the table and dust a little bit, and we'll be ready for company. So that'll be good. So I sat with a ice pack on my knee, and I knit on Christy's shawl. So I knit on Christy's shawl. That made me feel good. If I were making the small version of this, and I don't know, it's hard to tell how big the small version would be, but it seems like it would be a little too small, but I'll see. I'll see. It has charts, and then it has 2 additional charts if you wanted to make it bigger. You know, you could keep going for another, I don't know, 60 rows or something. Another 60 rows, I think, because I felt like I'm at row 80. It felt like I'm halfway through if I were going to do all the charts, but this chart, which could be the end, ends at 100. And then they have a mesh panel that you do all around the edges, a mesh panel, and you can make the mesh panel however big you want it to be. So if I decide, well, I'll talk to Christy and see how much shawl she thinks she wants to have. If she just wants to cover, you know, halfway down her back and over her shoulders, or if she wants something with a little more coverage. I mean, this is in case it's chilly. But I'll talk to her and see what she wants, because there are 2 more charts that could be done, and I think you can like do only one of them or both of them, whatever you want. And then if you just figure out that it's not big enough, you can do more mesh. And so the border is this mesh. I'm not sure if I was going anywhere with that, but that's where we are. So it looks good. There aren't too many beads left to do. It's just this little bit of beading in the middle of it. It's kind of interesting. If I were doing white beads, it would just add this little, it would be so subtle you wouldn't even know probably there were beads. That's how few beads it is. The last row, second to last row in the section that the chart I'm doing is a bead every other stitch. So it has this row of beads right before you go into the mesh, or right before you go into the extra panels. Now there are no beads on the extra panels, but they have a place where you could do a row of every other stitch being beads in the same way as the panel I'm on now. So if I do an extra panel, I am going to add those beads, every other bead, to it too, so it has more beads, because the beads are looking good. I'm just telling you about it, but I don't have it with me out here. So it is not lovely today. It is full cloud coverage. I didn't think it was supposed to rain, but I don't know. And apparently it's supposed to be in the 90s for the next 2 days, so I don't know how it'll be down the shore. I will be down the shore, and the shore's weather is different than my weather. I will be not that far. I don't know exactly where the town is I'm going. I have to look on my map, but I'll be down the Jersey Shore, which is where the Crafty Toads live, so I won't be that far from them, no matter where I am. And I am excited about my trip, I have to say. So today I will work on the shawl and straighten up the house and putter. That's what I'll do. I feel like I have some painting to do. Oh, I did a little sketch last night too. So I really was feeling better when I finished making my entrepreneur. It really, really brightened my mood. So that was good. And I'm feeling okay today. I think I'll stay off Twitter. I don't recommend Twitter. I mean, there are some very funny people and some really funny posts, but for the most part, just aggravating. I got into a Twitter war, which is part of it too. Yeah, I replied to a post and it started people, you know, whatever. It was a guy saying, I'm an epidemiologist, and we were able to eradicate smallpox with less, knowing less than we know now. So why can't, you know, so we got a, you know, something corona vaccine. And I'm like, you're an epidemiologist. And then he said, so, you know, I wasn't going to go get my PhD, but now I'm inspired to do that because research, blah, blah, blah. So I replied, I said, as an epidemiologist, do you really want to make a comparison between the smallpox vaccine and the corona vaccine? I think it's a bad comparison. I mean, so anyway, so I got into a Twitter war with 2 different people because I said I thought it was a bad comparison. It's a bad comparison. The vaccines are very different. In fact, I don't think they should call the coronavirus vaccine a vaccine. I think they should call it a shot, like the flu shot. I think it's a bad comparison. So I've said it. Got piled on. They didn't change my mind. Excuse me while I was scratching my ear. All I said was it was a bad comparison. Anyway, Twitter wars. So, yeah, so that's it. I don't think I'll be spending too much time outside. This isn't lovely. Of course, we'll walk the dogs. And then tomorrow, I'm going to go and then late morning and get there in the early afternoon. I'll do a vlog in the morning tomorrow, but I may not do one on Thursday. So if you don't see me on Thursday, don't worry. I'm down the shore. All right, I guess I don't have anything else to say. Don't get on Twitter. It'll just make you grumpy. That's my PDA. PSA? PSA. PDA. PSA. That's my PSA. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please. Stay safe and stay sane.